Hello, and welcome to Part 2 of the demonstration of the Emergent Collaboration Project. In Part 1, we took a look at the overall platform and how we organized the platform into team spaces and how we associated people and information with those team spaces. Now we're going to take a look at an individual team space and how we can both navigate through the space as well as how things are organized, how people are integrated into the team space, as well as how information and dynamic content, dynamic recommendations, as well as unified communications are all integrated around this team space. So let's take, for example, the space that I'm put in by default, which is the core project, the Cisco Reactive Environment project, and how it's organized. So the first thing again we see is all of the present status of people, both historic as well as real time. The next thing that we're going to see is I'm going to take a look at the public information that's presented about this project. And I know this is public because it's showing up as a tab under this Cisco Reactive Environment, and there's no lock. So I know inherently this is public information, information that this team or this project group is willing to share with any users across the enterprise. And the information is presented in wiki format. Anybody can go in and make changes to that at any point in time. So it allows user-generated content, user-generated status updates, and it allows collaborative working environment. Again, I see the people who have been there recently. I can click on them at any point in time, and I can see whether or not they're active in the system or where they might be working. The other thing that I'm going to see about this is over here to the right, which we haven't talked about yet, is we're going to see that at any point I can search throughout this environment, and I'm going to get dynamic content that is going to be recommended to me based on some technology, some inferencing technology that we built that allows me to take a look at this information here, put it in the context of the information that's been placed against the room, both the title of it as well as some tags that have been placed against it, and try and do some dynamic searching and inferencing for other content that might be relevant to this information. Not only am I going to get relevant content, dynamic relevant content, but I'm also going to be recommended people that have been active in this environment, people that are either experts, people that have been actively working in the space, people that have been asking a lot of questions, people that I might be able to benefit from interacting with because they've been actively involved in the space. And then the nice thing about the way we did this is these recommendations for people are going to be based on regular activities, normal activities that people take with the space. The links that they click on, how active they are in the space, how frequently they log in, what types of things they search for, how frequently they interact with other people throughout the space. So it's not requiring people to make changes to their activities and their behavior, but it's going to take into consideration all the things that they do on a regular basis to find people, find information, and hopefully begin the collaborative process. The next thing that we're going to see is any linkage to content or documents within the space. So a number of documents, a number of a number of subcategories within here, both manually placed by users or things that have been recommended by people. So explicitly recommended by people. As they've gone, they've read a document, they've said, hey, I really recommend this. So think about it as just like what we're seeing in Web 2.0, where people tagging things and putting stars and ratings on this. And this is going to show us the most highly recommended things for this environment, for this core project team. The next thing we can see at any point in time are all the people that are on this, that have been assigned to this project. And we're going to see who's active, who's not active, but we see the full breadth of the team that's been assigned to it versus what we have up here, which are people across the company who could be coming and working on this at any point in time. So what we get here is a very dynamic sense of not only information that's relevant to this space, that's going to be influenced by people, how people have interacted with this space in the past, but we're also continuing to get dynamically updated information based on how people are interacting around this. So the goal of it was, at any point, anybody that's on the team or anybody that's interested in this topic space can quickly come in, get a very broad view of what's going on in this area, whether it's around this core project or it could be around any activity. It could be around telepresence. It could be around Cisco IP telephony. It could be about just about anything that we have a space assigned for. Now, the next thing that we'll see is we're going to see that there's also the idea that we can have private information. So a number of teams often have concerns about, well, maybe I don't want to publish all my information and make it explicitly public at this point in time. Maybe it's a product roadmap. Maybe it's information about a merger or an acquisition. Maybe it's just information that's not yet finished and people don't want to make it public. So you'll notice that the people that are in the public space are different than the people that are showing up in the private space. And this is often going to be very similar to what's across the top. We also get different information that's recommended to us. We're going to get different placed or recommended content. And we're also going to be able to take a look at the persistent chat logs at any point in time of people that have been using the system to do persistent chat or to have persistent conversations around the system. So as we take a look around it, the idea that we have team spaces that are going to be dynamic, as you could just see there on the right, this information updated, based on both the tags, the manual tags, as well as the dynamic interaction that people have around a team space, gives us a very rich environment for distributed teams to be able to come in quickly, find people that have experience or that are actively looking for similar things, and be able to escalate this to a broader collaboration.